Good evening. This is Daily Recall, March 15th. The Ides of March. Beware the Ides of March. I'm Tom Stoukas coming to you from Sarnia, Ontario. So today's 16th day since the U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran began. And where are we at? Like I said before, the longer this goes on, the harder it's going to be to resolve without it being like taking up the whole region, like destroying the whole region. And they say like, oh, if he doesn't get out of it within like 2 weeks, Trump, if he doesn't find a way to get out of this, then it'll be just basically just a whole, like a disaster if he can't get out of it. You know, how, like Vietnam, escalation. There's a short window to get out of it, and it's running out maybe another 2 weeks. And so what happened today is like, there's no Canadian news on my feed. It's all Iran, or Middle East, because it's Lebanon too. So, few things happened today. Trump is making all these accusations he's pissed off at the American media, some, not Fox News, of course, but the American media that's basically, they think they're against Trump. They're giving him negative coverage of the war. They're distorting whatever. And he said the pictures of Iranians pro-regime protests or rallies in the streets are AI, and the American media shouldn't be airing it because it's AI. So he's threatening to revoke their licenses. And when you start attacking the press, so usually when things are going great, you don't care what the press says because you're winning, everything's going great. When things are going bad, you tend to lash out at the press, which is never really a winning strategy. And even Tucker, Tucker said might get referred for criminal investigation because he dealt with Iranians, like he's trying to interview Iranians or whatever, and all sorts of hell. They're going after Tucker now. And just like Charlie Kirk, but I don't think they can take Tucker out because it'll be too obvious. They have to just go after him, like hound him legally and put him in jail. And then Trump says he's going to get other countries to help him open the Strait of Hormuz. We got Marines going soon. Who knows what they're going to do. And people are saying Trump said that about other countries helping just for the oil markets, which are opening like now. But it doesn't sound like any countries are coming to help him. So his oil executive advisors are warning him that the situation is going to get worse, like for oil prices. Our prices here in Sarnia have been pretty steady the last few days, around 148. But I'm sure they'll go up. So yeah, they said things will get worse with the energy situation. And then also Netanyahu showed up again, but he showed up in a coffee shop, said, "Hey, I'm alive." It's weird, eh? Like, must be weird having to like a lot of people in the world were hoping you're dead, and then you have to make a video to show you're alive. It's kind of weird. I don't know how you'd feel about that. Like, how would a person feel about that? And people are rooting for you to be blown up. But yeah, according to the video, he's alive, but people are saying that's an AI video. So I don't think people are going to be satisfied until he does like a full live press conference with a bunch of reporters so they can You never know. This AI stuff is crazy, man. Literally anything could be faked, and it's a little dodgy right now, but it's only going to get better. That's crazy. Can't believe our eyes anymore. And then Israel, the reports that they're calling up 450,000 reserves to go fight in Lebanon. Basically an invasion of Lebanon up the south of the country, the whole southern part of the country. And that's going to be horrible. Like, it's going to be Hezbollah and every time they fight, those two in Lebanon on land, it's always lots of casualties, lots of death and destruction. So it sounds like it's getting wider, this war, and like the window's closing for it to get out of it. And even in Iraq, they're bombing U.S. embassies, the U.S. embassy and bases. So it's like spreading. It doesn't look like it's going to wind down. So here's we'll just go through the tweets today. It's kind of depressing, I know. Not looking good. Get those supplies ready. Here, former CIA analyst John Kiriakou, I'm generally worried for Tucker's safety. So they're going after Tucker. And if they go after Tucker, they're going to go after everybody else, because Tucker's like the top guy. He's got a lot of resources. So if they can go after him and destroy him, then everybody's fair game. Who criticizes like the war or Israel policy in the U.S. and all that. Let's see what John Kiriakou says. Hold on.
You were on Tucker Carlson just a few days ago, Clayton. I've been on a couple of times. I think I'm going to go back on in the next 4 or 5 weeks. I like Tucker very much. I consider him to be a friend. And I have to tell you, I'm genuinely worried for his safety. Tucker is one of those rare truth tellers. He speaks whatever happens to be on his mind, but it's always very well thought out. He's not afraid to call important people on the carpet for things that they've said or done. In the current political climate, in the let's call it the post-Charlie Kirk era, do you think Tucker Carlson has reason to be worried?
I think he wouldn't admit that. He doesn't like to. He never likes to have the focus be on him at all.
That's right.
I've known him for years, and he's never like me, like
never.
navel gazing. He hates that. He hates that with a passion. I need a large security contingent because I'm so important. Like, he's not that kind of person at all. But look, the SBU tried to kill him, almost blew up his car when he went to Moscow. Like there's some realities here. You have these nut job, MAGA influencers, these sort of pro-Israel Zionists who are basically actively calling for him to be arrested, attacked, and they have platforms. I mean, they're literally not thrown off of X. They're calling for like the arrest and hurting of his family, and they're still somehow on X, and they still have jobs at like Fox News somehow. Like, when I worked at Fox News, if I would have called for like the death of a human being, like, I would have been fired. But this is a new era, so you can call for attacks on certain people like that.
So we'll see what they do to We'll see what they do to Tucker if they go after him. And it's important because he was like next to Charlie Kirk. He was the kind of one of the biggest influences for the anti-war position, to have access to Trump. So they got rid of Charlie Kirk. Now they're sidelining Tucker. So things can't be going that great in Iran or in the Middle East if they're doing this to Tucker and threatening like to take licenses from the news stations. Like usually when things are going awesome, you don't worry, you don't have to do any of that stuff. So that's the whole point. It's a chilling effect, very chilling effect. And it reminds me, I was reading a lot about the Bolshevik Revolution, and especially when they consolidated their power, and they arrested anybody who didn't go along with the party. People were informing on each other. People were lined up, shot in like wave of terror. And I'm not saying that's happening in the States, but like they're going after anybody who's against the war or whatever. So it's not a good sign. It reminds me of the Bolsheviks. I don't know why. All right. And while they're going after Tucker for accusing him of being a spy for Iran, and all this, which I'm pretty sure he isn't. Like, I don't know him, but I'm pretty sure it's just a hit job of the highest levels. But anyway, this billionaire, this Israeli billionaire, Miriam Adelson, is given like hundreds of millions to the U.S. politicians, especially Trump. And she's Israeli. So it's like, you see the double standard there, obviously. Okay. And I think it's hilarious that none of the Epstein pedophiles or associates, none of them have been charged or even like really harassed like Tucker, but Tucker faces the bigger threat of arrest from the Trump administration than the Epstein pedophiles do. So something's messed up there. We're crossing the Rubicon, because they're not even trying to hide it anymore. Okay, here's another. Multiple journalists from Israel saying Tucker Carlson, an American, should be arrested for treason immediately. That's what they did the Bolsheviks did. Everybody who was arrested was a traitor, arrested for treason. Okay. And all these pro-Israel accounts are like basically saying the same thing, how Tucker got tricked into visiting the White House and giving false information to the... I don't know, it's all... I think it's stupid, but they're all like... All the pro-Israel accounts are totally... it's like a coordinated thing. Like, it's so fake. Shabbos, Kestenbaum, and then a few others. But it'll be crazy if they put him in jail or charge him. I think a lot of, he's very popular, like in the States, so it's gonna have people are gonna be really pissed off. So we'll keep an eye on that. All right. Here's Brett Weinstein. If his information is correct, he's talking about Tucker, who said he might. The CIA is looking to try to get him criminally charged. So he says, if Tucker's information is correct, what we have here is the deep state going after an American journalist, obviously. That should enrage every patriotic American, no matter what disagreement they may have with Tucker's perspective. So yeah, we'll see how this unfolds. There's some Indian enrichment, river enrichment. But that's literally the only Indian thing I got on my feed today. It's like all Iran. We're ignoring the Indian problem here. Okay. This is an interesting post. It's by an Iranian journalist. And I thought it was interesting. He says he doesn't like the regime, but he saw what the U.S. did. He doesn't like the Iranian regime, but he saw what the U.S. did in Iraq. He saw how it got destroyed from the American invasion. He was in Lebanon when the Israelis destroyed apartment blocks. He saw Libya get torn apart. He saw it happen, the same thing to Syria when it became battleground for regional and world powers. And they said the countries won't recover for 30 years. So basically he's saying these guys are going to wreck the whole country. And if you look at, he says none of this will lead to democracy, just destroy the country. And if you look at all those other countries, destroyed, they're all destroyed. Lebanon was a target of Israel a long time. The destabilizing efforts, long time, like the 70s. Like Hezbollah didn't even exist until Israel invaded Lebanon in 1982, I think. Ariel Sharon, and Hezbollah was like it was like Hamas. They kind of were created in response to the invasion and stuff. And yeah, Lebanon's been destabilized for decades. That's why there's so many Lebanese Canadians in Canada, because the country's destroyed. Very unstable, still unstable. They had a really bad civil war in the 70s, I think. And then an Israeli invasion. Then you got Iraq destroyed, Libya destroyed, Syria destroyed. So it's not looking good if they get their way in Iran. So even the guys who hate the regime know it's going to be worse off if the U.S. and Israel manage to achieve their goals of, like, basically wrecking the country. And that's going to be millions of refugees for Canada, of course. Here's IDF said that strikes on Iran's Basij and security forces will continue and intensify while the future of Iran ultimately rests in the hands of its people. So basically they're saying Israel's not going to stop. Because, like, they say this maybe because if Trump is getting tired of this and he wants to get out of it, this is kind of like their message to him, like, we're staying and it's over when we say it's over. They're going in it. They're in Quinton. They're in now. I don't think they want it. Like, it's not like the 12-day war they had in June, because Iran knows if they quit now, they're just going to get hit again a few months down the road. So I think Israel's in it to win it. Here's Emmanuel Macron. So Trump was saying all these countries are going to help open up the Strait of Hormuz, battleships from all these different countries, which is funny because Trump was saying he didn't need them. He's all over the place. And it says France has officially rejected Trump's request, saying it will not send warships to the Strait of Hormuz. Look at that thing. It's so narrow. How do you get tankers through there without them getting sunk? So we'll see how the price of oil goes if this thing stays closed for. They say it's going to stay closed for a long time if things get worse. Okay. This is funny too. Israel first gets the stupid war it wanted. but there's no satisfying these people, so now they want to prosecute their number one critic. He's talking about Tucker Carlson. Meanwhile, Lindsey Graham goes to Israel to coach officials on how to speak to Trump to get him on board for war, and that's A-OK. Yeah, that's double standard. And then even the U.S. ambassador, Mike Huckabee, who's very pro-Israel, the U.S. ambassador to Israel, he met with Jonathan, I think his name's Jonathan Pollard. He's an Israeli spy. He's convicted. He's served like 20-something years in U.S. jail, and he got pardoned and sent to Israel. And Huckabee had him at the U.S. Embassy for lunch. But Tucker's the traitor, I guess. Okay. So here's more on Israel's plans. It's all speculation, of course, but it says this is a comment. The IDF spokesperson has stated that regime change is not the goal of its operation in Iran. Instead, it is to weaken and destabilize the Iranian regime. That confirms the suspicion that the mowing the grass doctrine is now being used on Iran. Basically, what they did to Gaza, just keep bombing the shit out of it. It means this war is viewed as one of the endless series of wars which will be waged throughout the Middle East with no end game or strategy. Goal being to weaken and destabilize everyone in the Middle East and promote Israel regional hegemony. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, basically they're just going to keep bombing Iran until there's nothing left. And then they control they can direct all the little factions. But we're going to get all the refugees. Like 10 million refugees are going to go to Europe and Canada. So that's not cool. It's going to be a disaster. We can't even handle the ones we have already. Here's Lebanon. I'm sure we'll get lots of Lebanese refugees. Israeli government expected to approve large-scale mobilization of 450,000 reservists ahead of possible ground war in Lebanon. Israeli public broadcaster reports, and they said that represents the largest reserve call-up in Israel's history, exceeding the roughly 360,000 mobilized after October 7th. Which is kind of weird. It's like, okay, you started this war with Iran, and now how can you do a ground invasion of a different country and still be fighting Iran? Like, obviously, U.S. is going to be the one sending the troops to Iran. That's crazy. So, yeah, the Marines are going to the Iranian coast in the next couple of days or something. They were in the Philippines, I guess. So, it'll be... keep our eyes on how many, if they start sending large ground forces, because you'll know because of the logistics of it, they have to start sending supplies right away. But yeah, 450,000, they mean business there, I guess. All right. And this headline's making the rounds. Trump has warned NATO faces a very bad future if allies do not help the U.S. in Iran, according to an FD Financial Times report. So it doesn't sound like you got Israel and U.S. pounding Iran for 16 days, and it doesn't sound like it's going too good if he's basically begging other NATO countries to pitch in, like, guarantee of, like Carney said already, that will never join in. Imagine if, I don't like Carney, but I agree on not being anywhere near this. But if Pierre Polyev was prime minister, he would have gotten us into this probably, which is probably, I could see him doing it. It would have been very controversial, but we don't, it's not going to happen because he's not prime minister. But like Stephen Harper said was the same way. Like he would have got us into Iraq if he was prime minister. He was actually urging us to get into Iraq. So it's funny how Trump wants other people to get into it, to join the Iran war. It's like people are like, hell no. You started it, you finish it. Why would anybody want to go near that? So President Trump's called on NATO to help the United States in the war with Iran. So you can see how that looks. You can't be going that great. And he'd always say, oh, we don't need NATO, they need us, this and that. And now it's like, his credibility is just, it's like Idiocracy. It's like I'm watching the movie Idiocracy. Good movie. Here's American oil executives have told the Trump administration that energy crisis the Iran war has unleashed is likely to get worse. So yeah, oil is going up. I don't know. It's kind of, I want to see what it's at. 97.81. So, but of course it has the potential to go up. We'll see this week. But they say it's going to get worse. All right. So we'll see. Here's this Trump post today. I said, looks like things aren't going well. Because usually when things are going great, you don't have to do a huge post like this to bitch about things. So that's the end. I think the longer the posts get, the worse the things are going. So basically he's saying here, I'm not going to read the whole thing. He's basically saying Iran's using all these AI videos to show that they're holding their own, and the U.S. media are falling for it. So he doesn't like the fact that Iran's holding their own, I guess. So he's saying that's fake, and he doesn't like the fact that U.S. media is reporting anything positive or affirmation that Iran's holding their own. So he says media outlets that generate it. So he's talking about the story where there was a fire on a U.S. aircraft carrier, and the U.S. said it was just a laundry fire. Someone's left their socks in the dryer or something. But there was like, the reporting on it was like maybe it got hit, whatever. He's saying they should be charged with treason, media outlets that, misreported the story according to him. So, yeah, 16 days in and he's already threatening to charge media outlets with treason. That's not a good sign. So he says he's going to look at getting their, getting their license revoked and stuff. So yeah, it doesn't sound like things are going swimmingly if you're winning. Doesn't sound like it's going to end anytime soon. So oil, it's kind of not. It's in the red now, but it was up a little. There's that post. Look at this post. Could you imagine the poor bastard who had to write that for him? He doesn't tweet himself. Like, he tweets, but he doesn't type it. So imagine you're typing this, and oh my God. It'd be a rough job. Here's what's this guy saying about the Post? Trump has a new Iran war strategy. It's not happening. In his newest crash out, he declared that all the footage of Iranian strikes, burning ships, and downed aircraft as they are generated. He also threatened the press with treason charges for reporting confirmed military losses in an active war. That is the sentence. The cope reaching terrifying levels. Yeah, like, the bottom line is if things are going great, you don't usually spend all this time attacking your critics. So it's just a sign of things going, because we don't have all the info. So we have to try to make clues from this. And like I said, you don't write posts like this if you're winning. That's crazy. Look at that. Another thing he's doing is President Trump warns U.S. prepared to launch new strikes on Karg Island. I love the name Karg Island. So it's just like an island off the coast of Iran, just 25 miles. And it has a lot of oil tanks and like shipping ports, terminal for their finished product or oil. And he bombed it the other day, but only the military, military targets. He didn't bomb the refineries or the oil infrastructure. And that's where 90% of Iran's oil goes through that to get out of for export. So he says he's going to launch it again, bomb it again. So because what'll happen is if he does destroy the oil infrastructure here, Iran's going to reply to the oil infrastructure in the middle, in the other countries where the U.S. bases are, and then watch the price of oil go up. Doesn't mean he'll do it. We'll see if he does it. This is funny. I don't know how true this is. An Iranian official says, we may soon target businesses and real estate owned by the Trump family in the Middle East. It'd be kind of funny, like, not funny, but obviously you don't want people getting hurt, but Trump would be so pissed off if the Trump Tower was destroyed by an Iranian missile. He would totally nuke them. Hopefully it doesn't happen. Hopefully Trump Tower's safe. Okay. So here's another one. Trump suggests media outlets should be charged with treason for disseminating false information about U.S.-Israel war with Iran. Yes, that's not good. Trump claims that massive pro-Khamenei rallies shown on TV were entirely fake and generated by AI. He accuses the U.S. media of knowingly broadcasting this fake footage to make it look like the regime has support. Yeah, like, he's not making... He's looking kind of foolish, because I'm pretty sure it would have been debunked as AI by now. So, like I said, it's a sign things aren't going very good in the in this war, and hope, with the Marines coming and stuff happening in like Iraq and all the other countries, it's not looking good. The off ramp is coming up, and they're gonna miss it the way things are going. Yeah, and two, we're focused on this Iran thing instead of focus on Canada. But this is kind of the big thing right now. I think, like, I said immigration was the biggest issue for Canada, and it is. But if there's nukes flying, immigration doesn't really matter. So, right now, this is the top issue. So, we'll see how that goes. Oh, and I don't know how true this is, but they're saying China's been placing all their military around Taiwan because they're figuring U.S. is bogged down here between Russia, the Russian war, and Iran war. They're too bogged down to stop them. So that would be nuts. Hopefully nothing. Hopefully peace prevails. Always hope for that, but not looking good. All right, that's it for tonight. The Ides of March, still not over. When's the next? March 18th. I wasn't gonna go on tonight, but I didn't. My plans fell through, so I figured talk about Iran again. Oh my God, getting sick of Iran. So yeah, March 18th. We'll see you then. Until then, have a nice night.